One of the most important skills to master in Fortnite is knowing how to approach a box.
Over time, this has evolved because players just keep getting better, which means you can no longer drop down and attempt to take it because your opponent will instantly make an edit and eliminate you. I'll be going over the most common building structures you encounter in-game and how to approach each one based on the momentum of the fight. So let's talk about building structures. You're either going to encounter a 1x1, a 2x1, a 2x2, or an L-shaped structure. So let's start with the most simple one. A 1x1. Whenever you spawn in an opponent, with this structure, you can approach it in many different ways. Something you should keep in mind is that every single player has a different style and skill level. So depending on their skill level and playstyle, you can always choose on how to approach their box if you see the player isn't as good or you've dealt significant damage and you want to keep up the pressure, then you can get away with some simple approaches. On this first approach, you would want to weaken the wall with your AR so you can quickly replace it with a shotgun and end the fight. For the next one, you're going to want to place a floor and stair, just as I did. This makes it so the player cannot cone you or piece you in any way possible. Now they can do a mongrel classic on you, but if you edit it like this, I promise you they won't be able to piece you in any way, shape, or form. Once you identify the side you're going to approach your enemy, you will also want to identify if your opponent has either a cone or a stair in their box. Or in some scenarios where they have nothing inside, you can take advantage and place a stair or a cone so they can't escape. As you can see, Clix attempts to do it, but later successfully pulls it off. Placing a stair can be so effective if you do it correctly. If you're hugging the wall on your left and giving yourself a right hand peek, then after that you can simply just do a window edit and finish off the fight. The last thing you want to master is the art of baiting and confusing your enemy. You can simply do this either by using your pickaxe or by placing builds when baiting your opponent with the pickaxe. There's multiple ways to do so. You can bait them by pulling out your pickaxe for 1 second and then instantly switching back to your shotgun. By swinging once at the wall and switching back to your shotgun, or finally by canceling your first swing at the wall. This last one is amazing when trying to avoid getting pre-fired when it comes to baiting your opponent with your movement. It's pretty simple. Just make your opponent think they have the shot on you and then just use your movement to hide behind and cover. Final baiting technique you want to master is literally placing builds one direction and then quickly turning around and approach from a different direction. All of these skills of baiting your opponent are so you'll always be ready to capitalize on your opponent's mistakes. So to summarize, don't get caught with your pickaxe out, otherwise you'll get punished in the momentum of the fight and the fight can easily switch around. I'm going to be going over a few ways on how to phase or exploit into someone's box. One of the most important things in the current fighting meta is finishing fights quick. The main problem is that anyone decent at the game can make a bunch of boxes to prolong the fight. The only way to counter this is by exploiting or phasing into someone else's box. Momentum exploiting into someone's box is the fastest and most meta way to end fights quickly. Now I don't have someone to hold the wall while I'm showcasing this, but it's still very efficient and I'll explain it the best that I can. Now I'd like to go over cones, as in coning your opponents. Now I'm going to show you a few clips of 1v1ing my friends in a 1v1. Now I'm not telling you to do this in game, I'm just showing you how I use cones to my advantage in fights. I'm liking this map for sure. The next thing I like to go over is baiting your opponents using scroll wheel reset. This could really catch them off, just watch. Imagine someone jumping in your box and you start panicking and not knowing what to do. Well, I'll be showing you guys tactics on how to escape to get out of situations. While these approaches aren't the safest or the best, they are good enough if your opponent isn't as good or you've dealt significant damage. But if they are good and you're trying to play it safe, well, one of the most efficient ways pros approach players is by treating their opponents with respect. Now, you never know if your opponent is a complete bot or is the best player in the game. The safest way to know is showing them some respect. Now, what I mean by respect is playing safe and not jumping blindly in a fight, doing a whole edit course, or going for clips on your opponent as they can pump sit and won't pump you. You should always be cautious of your plays and make smart peeks. My point is, when you're making smart peeks, you shouldn't be visible to your opponents, but still being able to see your opponents to where they can't see you. Running left to where your opponent is, where you're fully visible, could be good if you have confidence in your aim.
Thank you for watching. This video took 8 hours to make, so hit the like button. But anyways, no long intros. I hope you enjoyed.
Peace!